right? Cross beams and bars, how long they are, the width, right? Or you can study all about the upper world. You want to study all about what's going on over there, the angels, how they look, what they do all day. What do you want to study? Right. What's the choice, right?
Angels, yeah.
Angels, right there. Because you don't want to study something which is boring, seemingly boring, right? So if you have a choice, you're going to choose naturally. You're not going to choose Masechet Eruvin, because Eruvin is all about bars and cross beams and to carry.
It's technical.
Too technical for me, right? To learn the laws of Midah has to do with a woman, right? What do we have to know that? Forget that, right? And then let's don't worry, we're going to talk about the men too. And then we get to Yebamot, which talks about, if a person marries and his wife passed and he died without children, and there's a brother, and he passed away and he left a brother, and you can do Yibum, he falls. It doesn't apply nowadays, forget about it. So forget those three off the bat. And let's look about something more interesting. That's usually the attitude in Torah. Torah, when you look at it, it looks like there's different subjects, some more interesting than others. Okay. When we look at everybody in this room, right? Let's look at all of the Jews as a whole. So, if you're religious, you say, well, that guy, he's not religious. Right? So, what do I have to do with the guy? Right? It's a different mentality, it's different, forget it. That guy, he messed me over in business. He told me to buy that stock. That stock, I lost 10 grand from that stock because of his tip. He can, right? Forget it. It's over, right? It's over. So you don't want to be associated with that guy. Or, you know what? He didn't send you a mishloach manot. So, and you did send him a mishloach. How dare he didn't send you a mishloach manot? Or he invited you to the wedding, and you didn't invite him back to the wedding, and he this and that. And forget about it. I don't want to be associated with that guy. Forget it. So we also have differences in Klal Yisrael, right? And every single person has this. I cannot reiterate it more, and it doesn't matter if I talk about it for the rest of my life, I'll always talk about it. Because this is what happens to all of us, right? We make separations in the Jewish nation, right? And every person, right, is a soul. It's the same soul. There's no difference in the souls, because a soul is a piece of Hashem. And there's not a good piece of Hashem, a bad piece of Hashem. This piece, which is the bad minhag, right? It's wrong, right? It's not true. Hashem is all perfect. Hashem is all one. It's all unison. And there's also the element of God, which is one. What does that mean? God's one. Doesn't everybody here believe in God? The truth is, the answer is no. We don't. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because situations that happen to us in life, everybody. It doesn't matter if you have a big beard and you're the rabbi of the shul. It makes no difference. Everyone's guilty. What does that mean? There's some situations in life where we say, right, you buy a stock, go back to the stock. I don't know why, but go back to the stock, right? And he gave us a good tip this time, right? He gave us a good tip, and you know what? It took off. Wow, right? And all of a sudden, we got a huge amount of money, right? We come to shul. Anybody for the kiddush? I'm sponsoring the kiddush. I'm sponsoring shlish lishit. Whatever you want. Right? Drinks. Hashem. Yishtabach Shem Allah. You see the guy, he's making brachot to Hashem. He never spoke to Hashem before. Saying Hashem, Yishtabach Shem Allah, Baruch Hashem, I love you Hashem. Hashem, Potech et yadecha, Hashem, you answer my prayers. But then, a tragedy befalls us. And what do we say? Right? Flat tire. I can't believe it. How can it be? What did you do? How can it be? What happened over here? No, who made you have a flat tire? Just all of a sudden? Just out of mikre, right? In Hebrew you say mikre. It happened. Nail on the floor, happened. But you know what? Who made sure that your car, you're right, there was a nail on the floor, right? And your tire went over the nail and got a flat tire, right? Now, in Hebrew, mikre is the letters rak me Hashem. Rak me, mikre means it's only from God. That's what mikre means. Because every single thing that happens is from God. Eliyahu Hanavi was coming to, the Gemara tells us, he used to come to a yeshiva to learn. He used to show himself in this yeshiva every single day. So one of the rabbis asked Eliyahu Hanavi, he goes, tell me, can I ask you a question? Right? He's a malach, he's an angel. He knows what's going on. Angels know what's going up over there, and they know what's going on over here at the same time. Right? So he asked him, let me ask you a question. If you can ask Eliyahu Hanavi, what would you ask him? Any question, what would you ask him? Huh?
Leafs are going to win the cup.
Are the Leafs going to win the cup?
Yeah.
Even he knows it's not going to happen. So Eliyahu Hanavi, he asked Eliyahu the following. You know what he said? What does Hashem do all day? That's a great question. It's an all-encompassing question. What does Hashem do all day long? What does he do all day long? Put his foot up. What does he do? What does Hashem, the master of the universe, what does he do all day long? What does he do? So he told him, Hashem, all day long, mezaveg zivugim. Means he arranges he's a matchmaker.
Yeah.
So he says, that all day? How many people are there in the world? For Hashem, it's nothing. What's the big deal? All day long, he's occupied in matchmaking. So, look at the Mefarshim, when you toil and you study the Torah, you see, doesn't mean setting up husband and wife. That's also part of it. But it goes much beyond that. It means every circumstance in life that I stopped off at Max Milk and I bought this bottle, which was manufactured in
The U.S.
No, Canada. No?
in Coca-Cola, I think,
Brampton.
Whitestone, New York.
There you go.
So in Whitestone, New York, they manufactured this bottle.
And you bought it.
They sent it to Coca-Cola, Canada. They filled it up with the drink. Then they sent it in a truck to Max Milk Thornhill. I get a call from Reuven and from Jimmy Kislasi that there's going to be a shiur. You got to change the subject tonight because we can't learn about the moon. Okay, that's our shiur usually Sunday night is studying about the cycles of the moon, right? So it's a bit complicated. You guys would come, you never come back again, right? But what happened is, so I had to go somewhere else, and because I went somewhere else, I had to pick up another book that I needed, another sefer that I needed. So I decided to daven mincha and arvit at a different shul closer to my house, so I'd have more time to pick up this book. And then, because I didn't have time to drink, I stopped off to buy the drink. I still didn't drink it. And Hashem now made it that it would fall into my hand. This exact bottle from 3 that were in the fridge. Right?
So you can use it
So
as a shop.
why was it important for Hashem to go all out of his way from Whitestone, New York, to Coca-Cola plant, somewhere in Canada, right? In Overly Boulevard, there it is, right? To come to Max Milk, exactly Sunday, so I'll get it and drink it, and make a bracha on this. For the Ilui Nishmat of the Niftar, Shimon Benlolo. Why would that happen? Can you imagine? That's an amazing, amazing event. You can write a whole book on it, just that, alone. Why did that happen? You can write a whole book. That's what Hashem does all day long. We don't know the secret. Why? But if we applied ourselves and we learned, even that we'd understand. So, in circumstances in life, Hashem arranges every single circumstance. So when your car, from all of the cars in the world, and all the nails that are left from construction workers and stuff on the asphalt, your tire, that out of the 4 tires is gonna go over that exact nail. That's what Hashem is doing all day long. Why? That we don't know. But we know that's what Hashem is doing every day. He's mezaveg zivugim. He's arranging instances in life to happen to people exactly for everything. Everything has an exact address and time and place, and that's what Hashem does all day long. Infinite. Can you imagine? Only Hashem can do that. You're just dealing with one thing. How can you deal with another thing? You can't. Once we're preoccupied, we can't be occupied with another thing. Even this tragedy happened. Look what came out of it. How many people here on a Sunday night to study Torah? Right? Now, it's don't get me wrong. It's a big tragedy, and we started this year like that. We had to lose such a valuable neshama. But we cannot forget what the Pirkei Avot tells us, that we all are timed. We only see it as a tragedy that he passed away because we're assuming that life is meant to live forever. We all believe, listen to this, we all believe, you know how long we're supposed to live? How long do we internally believe we're going to live?
Forever.
Forever. Nobody says, I'm living 70 years. Nobody says it. Now, King David tells us Yemeh shenotenu bahem shivim shana. Our life is 70 years. That's what King David writes. V'im bigvurot, if you're really, 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 really gibor, strong, working out, right? You do your carbs, whatever the names are, all these things, right? 80, right? That's what King David stops. He doesn't say if you go even more, 90, right? And usually you don't see people 80, right? That's already a big level. But nobody believes they're going to live for 80 years, because if we live for 80 years, and I knew there's only 40-something years left, you start to take an initiative and start to put things into practice, right? But we don't do that. So why does everybody believe that we're going to live for forever? All of us, including myself, we all believe we're living forever. And that's why we do sins. And that's why we don't forgive. When we get into fights with people, we say, you know what? Let the guy suffer a little bit. Make up with him. No, you know what? Give him some time. I'll make up with him next week. Who says you're going to live tomorrow?
Exactly.
Do we know? We don't know.
Exactly.
Every single person should know the only way to live life and understand life is the following way. How long do we live? One day.
Exactly.
If a person can understand this, you wake up in the morning, you do Netzilah Yadayim, you wash your hands, you try to learn as much as you can. Today we have no excuse because the entire Torah, you have it on your iPhone, on your iPad, right? It's connected to you, it's plugged into you, wherever you want, free. You can get every book, you don't have to pay a penny anymore. Every book, all of these books are free. Russian, French, every language, Spanish, whatever you want. Even the art scroll. The whole art scroll set of Shas is in Spanish now. Someone just showed me. The whole set, it's in Spanish. Someone went and made the whole art scroll in Spanish. Unbelievable. Everything is at our fingertips. We can just sit down. We don't even have to sweat. It's all explained. You don't want to read? Open up YouTube. Shiur Gemara. Explains to you automatically. You sit down, put your feet up, and just listen. Whatever way you want to study, you can study. There's no excuse. All the technology is just for us to show us there's no excuse. And you can study. But a person will go, wake up in the day, and will try to do all of his best. He has to know when he wakes up, this is his last day on earth. At the end of the day, he's going to pass away. He's going to give his soul to Hashem, just like the way he got it. Now, the problem is, we took that soul, which was pure and perfect, and it's full of cigarette stains, cigarette burns, stains, right? Joe Booze. It's got pizza stains all over it. So it's a little bit filthy. So what we have to do is we have to clean it. You know how easy it is to clean it? I want to tell you something. I admire this group. So you have no idea how much I admire this group. I'll tell you why. Because I studied it from Rav Kaduri. Rav Kaduri, I was walking with him one Shabbat. And, he's got all of his followers. Everybody's heard of Rav Kaduri, big giant in Torah, big rabbi. And he was walking with all of his students, right? And students saw on Shabbat, there was a guy on Shabbat who was walking in Yerushalayim with earphones, and he had, ribbed jeans, One of these guys with one of those cuckoos, right? It's a ponytail. And he's walking, So, here you have Rav Kaduri and his entourage walking, and you have this guy who's not observant, nothing to do with Judaism this way. And so the group said, let's cross the street. Let this guy. It's not really proper for this guy on Shabbat, right? With his Walkman, all into it. Who knows? And it's not. It doesn't seem right. So Rav Kaduri said, no. He moved away from the group, saw this person, he said, wow, Shabbat Shalom, Mubarak, give him a hug. So everybody said, ooh, this guy must be, maybe he's an angel, maybe he's just disguised, maybe he's, who's this guy? They're going up to him, who are you? What's the story? Regular guy, hairdresser, I don't know what he was, right? Regular guy. So then they went back when they got to the yeshiva. They asked him, he goes, "What did you do? Who's this guy? He's desecrating Shabbat openly." So he said, "Let me explain it to you." He says, when you see a person who's not observant, right? He doesn't look on the outside observant. You have to understand what type of a soul this is. These